Question of the day. Who do you think the pre-order character is for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, given that as of this upload, we are now, by a couple of hours, just under 1 month until the release of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Oh yes, I am still going to stick with Cell Max. Now, let me know in the comments who you think it is going to be, but do keep in mind that they have said a few things about the pre-order character. What they've said so far is that it's a character that hasn't been revealed yet. It's a character that's never appeared in a Tenkaichi game, and given the, I guess, like the graphic that they are using, it's heavily implied that the character is a single character that doesn't have a past or future transformation, so Cell Max fits all of those, well, all the criteria. Now, yes, I do know that the first and second DLC for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is going to be based around the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, which, yes, Cell Max is in there, but that doesn't really mean anything at all. Like, I think they'll do that. So it goes into the whole idea, as I mentioned before, of fear of missing out, where it's like, oh, you got the DLC, oh, you didn't pre-order the game, oh, cough up a few more bucks and you can get the main antagonist from the movie, Cell Max. And again, in past Dragon Ball games, at least in one instance, they've had the pre-order character be a character that is themed around the first few DLCs, that being in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, with base form Goku Black being the pre-order character, but the first season of DLC, so DLC 1, 2, 3, and 4, all being based around Dragon Ball Super, with DLC 3 and 4 being based around the Goku Black Future Trunks saga in Dragon Ball Super, and then even more specifically, DLC 3, one of the characters being Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. So it's not as if they've not done this before. So that's why I still think it's Cell Max. It can't be Charlotte because he's got 6 different forms, including base form. Goku Mini from Dragon Ball Daima has at least 3 forms, including base form, Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, probably Super Saiyan 3, and maybe even a new form, who knows. And yeah, it can't be Margin or Android 21 either, because it's a Tenkaichi game. They'll give her transformation, so it'll be Android 21, then Margin 21. With that said, let's just get into my roster list. Oh, and with that said, literally about an hour before I started recording this, long story short, I'm still feeling under the weather. I am almost better, but it's just dragging at this point. This video was meant to be uploaded at least a day prior, like the day of the Majin Buu trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I am glad that I waited to do this video, however, because early today, September 7th, 2024, it came out that if you guys remember, like a month or a few months ago, someone at Bandai mentioned in an interview, like a verbal interview, how they say like, oh yeah, if you want in Sparking Zero, you can pick Jiren to fight against someone like Tail Pai Pai from Dragon Ball. It's been revealed early today, as you can see on the screen right now, that guy is just, and I don't mean just to be dismissive, I mean, in this context, it makes sense. He's just a guy who works at Bandai Namco's marketing team for the toys, so he's got absolutely no connection to Sparking as an official source. So I'm only mentioning that because of that, I now think the base game roster, including the pre-order character, who I'm not going to mention, or I'm not going to have the pre-order character on this list, or on my 25 slots, I guess. I now think the characters that are going to be just in the base game, excluding the pre-order character, are all exclusively going to be from either Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, with, well, we know Daima is DLC 3, maybe DLC 4 as well, but at least DLC 3. And Dragon Ball, the OG Dragon Ball, I am now convinced that's not going to be in the base game. And of course, GT. If you still think GT will be in the base game, bless your heart. Just bless you at this point. And yeah, I know there's been like those very low quality screenshots of like a picture collage of Kid Goku with like other pictures, but I think that's just something that, like, I don't think you really take too much notice of that. With that said, for my updated roster list for Sparking Zero, probably the last one I'm going to do, I am now convinced that the base game roster is just going to be Dragon Ball Z and some movie characters and Dragon Ball Super. Now that's finally getting to my updated character roster list for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Okay, so starting off my updated character roster list for the upcoming Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. For the first row here, we've got 3 empty slots, so those are going to be very safe and obvious picks, in my opinion. Those being base form Cabba, Super Saiyan 1 Cabba, and God of Destruction Toppo. So I'm actually really surprised we've not got a Cabba reveal yet, given at this point now, literal months ago, again, as of this upload, we got the reveal of like Goten, Trunks, Kefla, Kale, Caulifla, the Universe 6 Saiyans basically. But missing was Cabba, and I don't know why. Now, if he does get Super Saiyan 2, I don't think that will be a transformation or a different character slot. I think Super Saiyan 2 Cabba, if it's in, will work similar, like akin to Goku using Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Goku using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta using Limits I'll Break Them, aka Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. I do kind of think, given how little we've seen of Super Saiyan 2 Cabba in the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super, I think so far at this point, if Super Saiyan 2 Cabba is added, I do think that'll be quite a bit of a wasted character slot, but we'll have to wait and see. And again, one of possibly even the most unsurprising pick on my entire list in this video, God of Destruction Toppo. Toppo's in the base game, well, base Toppo is in the game, right? Yeah, I think he, off the top of my head, I can't remember, it's probably on the screen now, or he was a moment ago, where there's an empty slot right next to Toppo, so it's going to be, you know, God of Destruction. And side note as well, I'm not exactly theming these characters around each other, so it makes sense from a roster standpoint. I'm just taking each row and going down and putting the characters there. So yeah, my first three picks, Cabba, Super Saiyan 1 Cabba, and God of Destruction Toppo. Moving on now to roll 5, we've got 3 more empty slots here, so let's just stick to the theme to some extent of Universe 6 and go with God of Destruction Champa, Vados, and just Final Form Frost. I don't have any other forms of Frost on this list. I know he's got his first form, his Xeno, like alien sort of form, and even 100% max form, or max power form Frieza, but I'm still under the weather, don't worry about it. So I think Frost now will be added. I did actually forget about him in previous videos like this that I've done on the channel, but if we do get Frost, or rather when we do get him, I think he's basically just going to get his final form. I know that may annoy a few people, but given that how infrequently we've seen first form Frost, and even his like Xeno Assault form, like the third form Frieza form, I just think it will just be Final Form Frost and probably just called Frost instead of giving him the title Final Form. If I remember, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think once Frost turns into his final form against Goku in the Destroyer tournament, Universe 6 versus Universe 7 Destroyer tournament, when he first turns into his final form, I don't think he ever reverts back to a previous form, even after the Universe tournament, Universe 6 versus 7 tournament ends, even when Hit goes to recruit him, and even in the Tournament of Power and post-Tournament of Power. So basically, I think he would be like a waste of a character if they add first and or second or third form. Just add his final form and call it a day. For the time being, I am done with Universe 6 characters, but there will be a couple more left later in the video. Don't worry about it. But fun enough, Universe 6. Moving on to Roll 6 now. There's 4 empty slots here. So yeah, I'm actually surprised that this is now an actual possibility, given the interview and given basically GT. Like, guys, if you do still think GT's in the base game, just bless your hearts at this point. If it is, I'd love it, but come on. It's just not going to be at this point. Not in the base game, at least. DLC, absolutely. So there's 4 missing slots here. Dragon Ball Z movie characters. So starting up, we've got base form Broly, base form Super Saiyan. Wow, base form Broly, Super Saiyan Broly, and legendary Super Saiyan Broly. All, of course, from the first Broly movie in Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, the legendary Super Saiyan, and we've got Cooler here. The next row will have the other forms of Cooler, don't worry about that. So yeah, if you add these 3 Brolys, you can cover the first 2 Broly movies. The Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, or whatever it's called exactly, and then Dragon Ball Z, Broly, the second coming. And also make Super Saiyan Broly have a different preset or different costume where he's got his like blue restrained Super Saiyan hair, and then another one where it's unrestrained and it's like the golden Super Saiyan hair that we see in the second movie, which looks so cool in my opinion. Yeah, and also given that they have for both Gogeta and Broly from Dragon Ball Super Broly, given that they have, feel free to count how many times I've said Broly, by the way, given that they've specifically labeled them as Super, because it's on Dragon Ball Super, that means that at some point, either in the base game or as DLC, they are going to add the Dragon Ball Z version. So with that said, I think these are going to be in the base game now at least, for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. On to row 7 now. So like I just said, we had Cooler, so now let's finish off Cooler with Final Form Cooler and Metal Cooler. Then Janemba, the giant, not orange, the giant yellow form. Then of course his transformed state, Super Janemba. Then unsurprisingly enough, Pikkon. Now keep in mind the next character on the next row will be Super Gogeta. So yeah, not really much to say about this, to be honest. If you add the 3 versions of Cooler, you can do a sort of recap to some extent of the first Cooler movie, but you do kind of need the Coolered Armored Squad. I don't think they're going to be in it, so it's whatever. You can do like a what if of that, and then of course you can then do a great version, or a good version at least, of the Metal Cooler movie. Then move on to Janemba and Pikkon and Super Gogeta in a moment. Yeah, add those in and you can cover Fusion Reborn. I know one of the most anticipated characters is Super Gogeta from Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn. Again, at this point, I am almost convinced, if not fully convinced, that we will get some movie characters in base game. We've got 3 empty slots for row 8 or whatever row I'm on now. So real quick, also movie characters, like I've just said, we've got Super Gogeta here. Then we've got Hirudegarn and Tapion. So I've already just mentioned Super Gogeta and like Fusion Reborn. With Hirudegarn and Tapion, add those 2 in, and given what we've got so far, if you add Hirudegarn and Tapion, you can just cover the Wrath of the Dragon movie, which is, it's funny enough because it looks like Daima now takes place between Buu Saga, or after the Buu Saga, and before Beerus appears. Prior to that, it was Wrath of the Dragon, so I don't know where I know it's non-canon, no one cares, grow up, it's a cartoon. So I don't know where that's going to fit in with Daima, but so far, at least as of this recording and upload, I believe there's only 2 confirmed giant characters, those being Great Ape, Skeletor Vegeta, and Anil Raza, whatever his name is, from the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super. So we do need at least a couple more giant characters, which, by the way, that's also another reason why it makes sense for Cell Max to be the pre-order character, but whatever. So yeah, I would love if they add Hirudegarn, especially because he's a really cool character, right? He was also in Tenkaichi 3, so it makes sense. Hirudegarn and Tapion, but Tapion to a lesser extent. Add those 2 in, you can then do a full retelling of the Dragon Ball Z Wrath of the Dragon movie. At that point, I think all you need to do is give Videl her Great Saiyan 2 outfit. Don't make Great Saiyan 2 a separate character, just make it a costume that Videl can wear. I think that makes the most sense, instead of it being a full dedicated character slot. Penultimate row now, we've got row 9. 3 characters here. I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with these characters, given that so many people want GT, and then we consider these to be wasted slots here. We've got 3 slots here, those being King Vegeta, Great Ape King Vegeta, and Super Saiyan Bardock. Side note, I've seen a lot of people say that Super Saiyan Bardock should or could be the pre-order character, but again, Super Saiyan Bardock is a transformed state. Plus, it's also implied that the pre-order character, given that it's never been in the Tenkaichi game before, that's heavily also implied that it's not a version of a character that has been in a past game. So, Super Saiyan Bardock is still Bardock. Gohan Beast is still Gohan, right? But again, Cell Max, and I keep mentioning him, probably the last time of the video. Might try and get another sneaky reference in, who knows? But Cell Max isn't Cell. It's a completely different entity. It's not even this, it's not even that they've used his DNA. Sure, it's based off of his second form in terms of the looks, but apart from that, that's where it ends in terms of the references or resemblance or what have you. Side note as well, King Vegeta along with King Cold should just have different costumes, and even Bardock as well. Costumes for their Dragon Ball Z version and Dragon Ball Super version. Don't have separate characters for them, just have it so you can change the outfits from a Dragon Ball Super version to a Dragon Ball Z version. Same thing for the Great Apes, and we'll also have Great Ape Bardock coming up momentarily. Yeah, Super Saiyan Bardock as well actually first made his appearance in Dragon Ball Z, if I remember, Dragon Ball Z Full Connect for the Xbox 360, which was a somehow even worse sequel to the technically previous Tenkaichi game, Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. So do keep that in mind right there. And for the final row of missing characters, my picks here are going to be, as I've just mentioned, Great Ape Bardock. Then going back now to Universe 6, we've got Botamo and Magetta. I think that's how you pronounce those names, I don't know. But then for the final one, for pick number 25, I actually couldn't think of anything. Now, I think the pre-order character is going to be, like, I think what they might do is I think they may reveal, like, another character roster page after the game comes out for the pre-order character and then for all the DLC, or at least for Season 1. So, pre-order character, DLC 1, DLC 2, and DLC 3. But I think, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I can't remember at this point. Again, still under the weather, don't worry about it. It's going to be basically the characters that I'm on the roster that you see at the end of the trailer. Like, the character picks are all completely 100% in the base game. So if you don't have the pre-order bonus, or if you didn't pre-order it and you play completely offline, you'll be able to still get them at no additional expense. So with that said, I can't think of a pick for number 25. Yes, I know Shin, the Supreme Kai, not the Supreme Kai of Time. Why would you even think I've ever made that mistake? By accident. No one's going to get that. Given that he was revealed in the recent, only a few days ago, World Tournament trailer video for Sparking Zero, like, his model's there, right? Like, I would have thought he would have been in the game, but given that he's not been updated after the Boo Saga trailer, I don't think it's him. I don't think the Dangerous Trio are going to be in because there's not enough room for them, and yes, their models are in the game, the character models, but it's just for an attack. And there's another character who I forget off the top of my head. I forget, whoever. So for pick number 25, you tell me in the comments who do you think it's going to be. It's not going to be someone from GT. They're not going to have one character from Dragon Ball GT. I know a lot of people are going to say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. It's not going to be Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta because, again, it's a transformed character because it's a fusion. I'm just not going to do that, right? I'm just not going to add Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as the one standalone representative from GT. I'm going to just wait for them to do the GT DLC for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Oh, that's a quick outro. Oh.